Good morning, everyone. It's Alara. Welcome to my channel. Today is my very first true mid-year WIP parade, or first WIP parade ever, really. When I first started my channel, I had kind of broken my collection up over the course of the first several videos, so nothing was really all together. 3/4 of this is probably new starts anyways, so and I'll be honest, it might be kind of a boring WIP parade because there's really not, it all looks like just new starts, because it is. So, I have an assistant today who is going to help me by corralling some of this so I don't have to get up and back and down in it anyways. So, I have hands. All right, so without further ado, well, first of all, thanks for joining me. I have no idea how long this video is going to last. It's 52 projects. I already counted. My table is very full. I know there's people with more, there's people with lots less. So let's dive right in. So this very first one, if you're familiar with my channel at all, should not be a WIP anymore. But she is. I have goals. She will be done at the very latest this October, if not beforehand. All I have left is some French knots here in her skirt and the rest of that devil cording. I'm not a fan of couching at all. I don't like how it looks, at least not how my couching looks. I just think it looks messy, so I'm struggling with the motivation to finish it. Otherwise, the rest of her is absolutely done. So, yeah, this is the Dimensions Dimensions Kit Gold Collection. I've been working on this since like 1997. She was in a hoop for about 17 years. I do have a video of her coming out of that hoop and surviving. Go check it out. I don't know how to do cards, or I would. So yeah. That one is, she's called Summer Stroll. All right. Next is my, well, the first 3 projects are my absolute oldest WIPs. They are the ones that I started way before life hit, before I had kids, before I got married, yada, yada, yada. Everything else is new-ish. This next one is Across My Heart Collection, the pack. I picked this one up probably the same time I picked up Summer Stroll and the next one. They were all kind of the same era. This is a 2000 chart, so a little after Summer Stroll, but this is the first project that I had started before I knew what confetti was. There's where I was at the beginning of my journey here on YouTube, and now that I know a little bit more how to deal with the confetti, I think I'm actually going to be more motivated to finish him. Of course, now I have a bajillion starts, so he's just, you know, going to kind of blend into the mix and get pulled when I feel like working on him. I see he, but it's a them. The Ada is actually starting to yellow a little bit, so I'm hoping a good wash will help brighten that back up. The next one is a Dimensions kit. Not a kit. This was the Dimensions kind of a kit. It's the Charms collection called the Alluring Sorceress. I'm not going to show it because she's almost done too. She looks a little creepy because she doesn't have a face yet. All of her all of her crosses and half crosses are done. The only thing I have left to do, I have started. The crystals are all done now, and I have started backstitching her skirt. But the rest of her finishing stitches and her face, she needs a face. And the charms need to be done. And I do have her companion, the wizard, I don't remember his exact name, that I would like to do after I get her done. I actually have had the fabric and the floss just as long as I've had her going. It was just one that I told myself I didn't want to start until I got her done, and I think I'm going to keep to that. So she is also one that needs to be done in October, if not sooner. Next is one that I had got when I started getting back into cross stitching year before last, or last year, when pandemic-ish. I had ordered a bunch of stuff off of AliExpress. And while I was waiting for that, I decided to... Actually, I think this was even before the pandemic hit, because I wasn't worried about going out into a store at this point. So I went, while I was waiting for all of those kits to arrive, I decided to go shopping and seeing what I could find at my local big box stores. So this is Be a Light. And this is, I believe this is this is from Dimensions. I actually cut down, I don't have the cover paper anymore because I cut the weight down of the kit to take with me backpacking. This is where I'm at. I have made quite a bit of progress since the start of my channel. Don't really have, I mean, I have a third of it to go, basically, a little over. But that's one that needs to be done. This is really why I'm considering doing a old kit October. Just to get some of these older, smaller projects done, things that don't have a whole lot left to do, things that I haven't touched in forever, that just need to get some love. I'm going to start tossing stuff on the floor, or it's going to get real crowded up here real fast. Next is from Northern Expressions Needlework. I think I said that right. Where is, there it is. Yeah, Northern Expressions Needlework. This is the Twisted Rainbow Sampler. I first saw when I first saw this piece was when I first discovered Flosstube. I started watching Rachel Ray's channel when I was into diamond painting. I still am. It's just that bug has left the building and has been taken over by the giant tarantula of cross stitch. So I saw her, I was watching her, saw that she had put out some Flosstube videos. What the heck is a Flosstube? Checked it out and fell in love with quite a few of the projects that she had started working on. And Twisted Rainbow Sampler was definitely one of them. And I cannot remember. Do you still have that list I gave you? Is it over there?
I don't think so.
Nope, I found it. I buried it. See, I buried it already. Okay. I have to figure out which ones are new starts from the beginning of my channel and whatnot so that I can show you properly. Yes. I think, yeah. So there is the progress that I have gotten so far. I got quite a bit done from what I had originally when I started my channel, so pretty happy with that progress. It'll come out when it comes out. I can't guarantee what this will look like in December. Maybe the same thing. I don't know. December's WIP Parade may be kind of boring because I don't know if I'm going to touch every single one of these projects between now and December. That's more than a kit. Not a kit. That's more than a project a day per month in order to get any kind of progress on all the things. Okay. Next is a very old kit that I had gotten off eBay. I'm pretty sure it's a ripoff of probably some Dimensions kit somewhere. They called it Country Cabin. Oh, and I knew I was going to do this. I don't know Summer Stroll is on 16 count, kit Ada. The pack is on 14 count. Excuse me. White Ada of some sort. I've kicked up a lot of dust getting all of my stuff out. I think the Sorceress is on... It looks like an 18 count as well. Black Ada. Twisted Rainbow Sampler is... And all of those are like 50 over 1 or whatever Dimensions does with their stuff. Or over... Yeah, you know what I mean. The Wolf is 2 over 1 on that Ada fabric. The Twisted Rainbow Sampler is a 28 count Jovelin. Black fabric. Worked 1 over 2 on that one. This is a 14 count. Worked with both half and full cross. 2 threads, I believe. Worked on this one a little bit. I got this out for the 100 days of... First 100 days of the year where I did like 100 stitches on it. I don't even remember where a lot of these were when I started the channel. I have no clue what you're saying. What's it look like? How much did I get done so far, guys? Is it good? Is it pathetic? Should I pull it out and work on it more? Probably. Alright, next one is also, it is a kit from China. It is one of the few, or the only one, that I have found that is not a ripoff. That they have actually asked permission from the artist to chart this one. They call it The Girl That Sat on the Dragon Reading a Book. Say that 10 times fast. This is a kit from Joy Sunday. I have seen a few other people working on this. It's a cool chart. Punishing myself with backstitch on this one. Because, man, look at her hair. Yeah, tons of backstitch. This is a... It says it on the thing. I forgot to say. 14 count, 2 over 1. I actually took it out of the hoop, so you're going to see... this is the first pattern ever that I started working in pages. And didn't try to piece together anything. So you can see her nose is poking through the very tip of her forehead and her hair. And that's the dragon's tail. Got some crazy shadows today. Will you go turn that light on, please? I worked on this one for the first 100 days of the year day. That's a little better. Thank you. That's the dragon's tail coming down. So I've done a little bit, not a whole lot, at least from what I remember. Here, I'm going to hand these to you. I'm going to have you fold stuff and put it back inside. Try not to crinkle too much though, because it picks up the microphone really bad. Thank you. All right, next is one of the very first, if not the first full coverage I ever started. Again, Heaven and Earth Designs, had no clue anything like that existed. My full coverage experience was Dimensions. I knew I preferred it, but I didn't know how much cross stitch had evolved until I was watching Rachel Ray. I didn't know anything about Flosstube or the community and how much it had grown. So when I saw her working on I don't remember, one of the Antiquities pieces, I was like, I need to check this site out. And from there, I was a lost cause. So I have the regular size max color version, and I'm sorry, I've got bags sitting right next to you, so I know that was probably kind of loud. I did try to unzip everything so that it minimized a bit, but I can't guarantee it. So this is the regular size max color version of this chart. Depending on how she turns out. I may actually end up having to add a little bit of back stitching in her face just to define it a bit, because in the mock-up she looks a little peaked. That's going to be a while till I get to there, though, let's be honest. This is on 18 count. Yes, 18 count fabric, worked 2/1. I started working cross country, just color completing the 939 that's in this page. And I guess the regular version of this chart, not max color, is 310 here. I double checked that I'm not nuts, and this is definitely 939 that the chart calls for. So it's kind of interesting how the conversion between those two ended up. So, but I started cross country, and then once I had to start going back and filling in these ninja stitches, I was over it. So I started parking to give myself a little bit of variety while working on this chart. So it's been a really slow going, starting these diagonals and getting the parking going on this. But that's where I'm at. That just needs zipped up. And keep that with it. Okay, so if you follow my videos, the zipper broke again. I really need to put this in one of my project bags. We broke it. All right. Next up is Malaganos. This is also Heaven and Earth Designs. This was a limited edition chart when it came out. I don't think it's been added to the site as a regular chart. This is my first go at 25 count fabric. This is also from Ada from China. I should have pulled this out of the hoop. I apologize. 2 seconds. So I started this out in the upper left-hand corner, doing cross-country sort of color completing as I went, and decided that I didn't like doing the cross-country, nor did I like 25 count. 1/1 on 25 count is not full enough coverage for my personal taste. It works for a whole lot of people, and that is perfectly fine. It's a little sparse for me. But 2/1 was very bulky. It sort of had like a popcorn effect on the stitching. So I decided to switch to tent stitch and parking at the same time. Now, in order to do that, the way this pattern is, I don't remember if I don't have a good cover sheet. I'll insert a picture here. You can see how the rain sort of stripes the colors. So I decided that wasn't conducive to parking how I wanted to park going this way. So I decided to go all the way over to the other side and start parking 3/1 tent stitch. It's still a little bit bulky, but I'm happy with the coverage still. It's not as bulky, and I don't have the quite as bad as a popcorn effect from the threads fluffing incorrectly. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain it. So I'll stick a picture up above here. But I had just started over here when I started my channel. That's it. That's as wide as it's going to be. I guess I cut the fabric a little bit big. Or I counted really wrong. Let's hope that is not the case. As you can see, I did grid over from the left to the right. So, you know, assuming I was smart enough to double count my 10s, this is correct. But if you put them together, I really don't think you can see that much of a difference between full cross and tent stitch. At least not enough to bother me at this point. You can definitely see these stripes look a little bit more dotted than this over here. So we'll see if it blends well enough once I get over to the side. It was an experimental piece. Again, these are for my own use. It's not like I'm a professional needle worker worrying about, is somebody going to, oh my God, I think my husband's up. Hang on. Why is everyone awake this morning? Oh my gosh. 3 of my 5 children are up already. Usually they sleep until 9. This one right here, I don't mind so much. The other ones are all teenage boys and they're noisy. And they keep coming downstairs. Anyway, so that was Malaganos. Switched and we'll find out how it goes. All right. This is Firewalker. This is by JoJo's Art. Charted by Gecko Rouge. And they actually only do kits. So this is a kit from them. There we go. I chose to do this 1/1 on 28 count fabric. They do the easy guide or easy count, whatever you call it. I'm never really sure what it is. And I haven't done a whole lot of progress since I first started this last year, but I have. So I had actually done this as a stunner start and just worked my way up so that I could start up here. And again, I had started doing this as a color completion in, I'm assuming 939. And again, once I started having to go back and fill in those confetti stitches, it's not too bad with the way this particular chart is done. But I think I'd rather do it as a parking and kind of mix it up so that I'm not just always doing one block of color or one, you know, big blob of color at once and then having to go in and fill in all those confetti stitches. Okay, there's one person in this household that I'm comfortable with recording, and they're next to me. That's it. That's all. Anyway, Firewalker, JoJo's Art. That's where I'm at. Stick that in the pocket there, please. Okay, and next one is actually the first new start that I started after I started my channel. Does that make sense? Did that make sense? I think it made sense. This is also a chart by Gecko Rouge. And this is artwork by Charlie Darling. Now, this is called, where's the title? Right there. Purple Unicorn on here. But I think it's just unicorn on their site. I don't know. The titles don't correlate. So technically not full coverage because, you know, the outside borders aren't stitched, but it's full coverage, whatever. Again, I got this on 28 count, 1/1, easy count, easy grid, easy guide, whatever. And this is the progress that I've made on it so far since I started. This is morphed into my Stitchy Meetup project. I usually take this with me when I meet the gals that I met at the retreat last year that I went to. We meet once a month, and this is usually the project that I take with me. It's just kind of developed into what I stitch on when we go sit and chit-chat for a few hours. All right, and I am going to go ahead and, because I have shown them on my channel before, go ahead and sort of keep that tradition up, I guess. I don't remember if I had even started this one, but this is Carousel Horse, and I've only started, this is just a partial beading project. It does use the glass beads, but it's just there on the bottom that I had started beading. So the kit is off of Amazon. I don't even know if it's still offered, to be honest. If it's something that you would be interested, let me know. I'll see if I can find the link for it. But I don't even know if I can dig it out of my orders or anything. I might be able to screenshot it and do a search that way for it. This goes into the small box back there. Next up is... All right, this next one is my giant beaded project. Yeah. I have it on a scroll frame. I'm not unrolling it so you can see the whole thing, but it's off of AliExpress. It's a fire and ice horse. And I'm gonna have to stand up for this one. That's how far I've gotten. I had started this when I had started my channel, so I'll put the progress here above. I don't know how much I've really gotten done since I started the channel. I was going across the whole, and these aren't glass beads, these are the larger acrylic beads, so this is like a 9-count fabric. It's beautiful, but I started going all the way across, and I got kind of bored with it, so I'm starting to just section it up, and, you know, no rhyme or reason, just I'll go up until I feel like stopping, then I'll start the next column. So there's that. Butt shot. Sorry, guys. All right. Next is... Now, my beaded stuff kind of is clumped together. This is, I took notes off of my old videos, so you're sort of seeing it in order of what I showed it to you before. I believe this was a new start. Yes. It's a very pathetic new start, but it's a blue beaded horse. I don't think there's really like a finished picture of it anywhere. You can kind of see what it's going to look like. And this one is glass beads. This one's off of Amazon again. And I just have a tiny, is it focusing? Tiny little start there on the bottom. Nothing really to write home about. Roll that up and then it goes in the big one. Okay. From here on out, I think it's all either real, like regular embroidery or cross stitch. Most of it's cross stitch. There's a smattering of embroidery stuff. This, I had a whole bunch of older stuff from like my mother. She gave me her stash that I'd been hauling around for literally decades, and finally just said, that's enough. I need to start these. I need to get them done. This is a kit from, I don't know if I ever did find the year, but somewhere in the 80s probably. It's this rose kit from Busilla. And I didn't get super far with it. Sort of lost my mojo after I started it a little bit. It's a little dusty. I got the butterfly done and started on the rose. And I'm really trying to avoid say, I need to work on it more, because that's going to be true of every single project of mine. I need to work on them all more. I will. They'll get their due time. I have what I call a stitchy will, so that my husband knows who to contact, so that my stash goes to the appropriate parties if something were to happen to me, so that it doesn't just get goodwilled. All right, next is a kit from China. This is actually a travel project that if I'm in the car, like it will go with me here in a couple of hours when we go for the interview later. It's worked with their silk threads, which is like probably just a rayon or silicone permeated. I don't have a cover sheet or a finished picture for this one, unfortunately. just have to use your imagination. And it is pre-printed. I've been working in, I've got some of this feather done. And I've been working my way up this other feather. So these pre-prints are really convenient for traveling or camping because you don't have to haul a chart with you. But most of these kits are rip-offs, so it's really hard to trust what you're getting when you order these pre-printed AliExpress kits, unfortunately. Speaking of AliExpress pre-printed kits, this is a ginormous piece from them. This is on 11 count fabric. Yeah, this is an 11 count fabric. It's only 600 by 230, but because it's on 11 count fabric, it's huge. Like, just takes up a lot of space. It's going to be gorgeous if and when I ever get it done. Jalalac is doing this as a beaded cross stitch, which is, I think, going to be even prettier because she got the glass beads, but she got her kit from Taobao, and I don't know Chinese to order from there. But I gotta stand up for this one too. There we go. I have the tiniest of starts, and I don't honestly even remember. Was this a new start? I think I'd already started it. No, I had not started it. Or, yes, I had started it. But I don't know if I had gotten any more work on it since I started it. Stick a before picture in there. I don't know. You tell me. Did I get anything done on it? It's a surprise. To me, anyway, when I edit. I don't even know how to fold this now. I really want to try not to make it too completely explosum in here. Because, y'all, if my poor husband comes downstairs and sees this mess, he's probably going to have a bit of a heart attack. Not for the mess, but to, like, see how many projects I have going. He knows I have a lot going, and he doesn't say anything. He's super supportive. But it's going to be one of those... the eyebrow raise thing that the guys do sometimes. I don't need that negativity in my life. Sorry, it's a little noisy. Okay. All right, next is a new start that I had after the channel started. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs piece. Beloved Flipped by Adele Sessler. And this, I don't know, it just reminds me of me and my husband. He's my rock in the storm for sure. If you saw my recent update video, this is not going to be new to you as far as progress goes, so sorry. I don't really know how to time these very well between, updates and WIP parades. But this will be a nice... I really need to serge these edges. This fabric is fraying like crazy. Here. That's how far I've gotten so far. Like I said, a lot of these projects are going to look super similar to each other as far as starts go. I had actually started trying to do 20 by 10 blocks, but I tried to do that when I had been up for like 20 hours, and my poor little brain just broke trying to do that. I ended up like working in part threads that I should have parked down the next row. So I went back to my 10 by 10 block. So that's worked on 28 count even weave, 1/1 full cross. You'll notice I have a theme on these full coverages after a while. All right, this next one was also a new start. This is Supersize Max Color Light Weaver by Michelle Phelan, also by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is done on 28 count fabric, 1/1 full cross. Yes. And that's how far I've gotten so far on it. Still kind of trying to figure out how I want to work on this. So far, it's sort of cross-country-ish, like a hybrid of cross-country and parking. Or, you know, working 10 by 10 blocks at a time, just cross-countrying it till I finish the thread. We'll see if that continues to work for me or not on that one. And I apologize if I'm starting to sound a little monotone. I've been talking for hours now. And it is, I don't know, pushing 7 o'clock now in the morning, I think.
It's 7:30.
7:30, yeah, and I have not been to bed yet. Typical for those of you who have never visited my channel. My sleep schedule is very different. So, let's see. This next one is Bright and Starlight. This is also a Heaven and Earth Designs. Again, a theme you'll notice with my projects. This is artwork by Sherry Gerhart. And I was a huge Rainbow Bright fan. I love horses and unicorns and everything 14-year-old girlish. But that's her all grown up. And being a circle, I was like, I don't know how to start this. Where do I start? How do I start a circle? So I picked the middle. And I started trying to do some sort of strange, like, pinwheel parking going 4 different directions, and that broke my brain after a little while. So I've been working in threads and starting to do cross country. I may actually work my way up to the top and then start working my way down. I don't know. This one's weird. I don't know how I feel about circles. Yeah, that's right, way up. Okay, just making sure. Just because I have a hard time decision making sometimes, so I can't decide where to go on this and how to work on it. So this is also 28 count, 1/1. No, 28 count, 2/1 tent stitch for this one. This is I started quite a few projects in my tent stitching phase, and I'll probably keep working. It works okay for this one. I'm not sure how many more projects I will start as a tent stitch. I'm definitely more of a fan of full cross, simply because of the way I start and end my threads. Okay, this next chart I don't have a cover sheet for is Nomi's. This is a chart by I know her as Kaylee Kroof. Kaylee, I'm sorry. I know I try to say your name every time and I butcher it every time, probably. But she has the sewing shop, www.thesewingshop.ca, where she sells these charts. I think, Kaylee, are you still selling them? I don't remember. I look at your bags because and then I never get past the bags when I go to your site. She does bags, and she was working on some patterns, but Nomi's was one that she gifted me, and I chose a linen to work on him. And where are you? He is not a super big, I have way too big of a piece of linen for him, but I have charted him completely out as far as the grid goes and have made this much progress on him. This is one I will say I need to put more time in. I want to see what he looks like completed. I'm sure Kaylee would love to see him finished as well. And she did a conversion for me. Her original nose kind of was a yellow, like in the headband here for his earmuffs. And I asked her to put a pink nose in for me so that he looks gold. Snuggle up, Nomies. It's cold outside. But if I concentrated on it, it probably would only take me like 10 days of stitching, but I can't concentrate for that long, let's be honest. All right, this next one is also one I blame on Rachel Ray. She definitely enabled me, and I thank her for it, because like I said, she led me down the amazing rabbit hole that is Flosstube. Apparently I have lost, oh, I think that's the needle my husband found the other day in the carpet. Sorry, husband. Drop the needle. Okay, I haven't had her out of the hoops for a while, and I think she deserves a full glory for, oh, of course, let me smooth her out. This is a pattern. Did I even say what she is yet? Oh my goodness. Dark Queen of the Seas. She was a stitch along done by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and collaborated with Under the Seas Fabric for the Bewitched colorway that she's worked on. And it's kind of a choose your own adventure stitch along. I think she's still available on their Etsy store, and comes with kind of, not every part has two choices, but quite a few of them have, you know, do this or this for the stitching. And there's like a hair pack that you have a bunch of different hair colors. So here she is so far. I am almost finished with her hair. Did she have... Did I not write her down in here? Ooh, I don't think I wrote her down. I have 53. Oops, sorry. Paper in your face. I didn't. I have 53 whips. Oh my gosh. Projects. I have 53 projects that I love dearly. All of them. They're like my children. Just kidding. But I just have a little bit of her hair left to do, and then that part's done, and I can move on to the next part, which I don't even know at this point what that part is. But I picked the blue-purple ombre hair pack to do for her. But those fish are what got me for this Sal. Rachel got me with the fish. I don't think I have a bag for that one out. Okay, next up is also Heaven and Earth Designs. I don't think, do I have a color paper for her? I do. All right, so this is a Heaven and Earth Designs Castle Fest Wendelin Eotenshi. Say that 10 times fast, by Babette Vandenberg. This is a chart that my husband picked off of my wish list for Christmas for me. So this was my Christmas start. Most of these I have no friggin' clue when I started them, you guys. To me, it does not matter. With as long as it takes me to finish stuff, I don't care. I started it sometime. Oh, let me take this one out of the hoop too, because I didn't realize it was cut off in the hoop. I had moved it a bit. It's not a super significant portion of progress done. And this one I started in the bottom right-hand corner. I don't know if I'll end up gridding her out and starting in the upper left-hand corner or not. We'll see. So far, I'm still working in parked threads, because I started parking and it was making me crazy. This one's really hard to get the colors to show up very well because it's so dark in the bottom there. But this is the corner of her dress, the bottom of her dress. And yeah, we'll see how I decide to continue stitching her. I may grid it out and start up in the upper left-hand corner. I may start working 1/1 full cross, but for now she is on 28 count Aida, 2/1 10 stitch. And we'll see if that continues to be the case. I'm just full of surprises. Let me pack her up, please. All right, my assistant is starting to get put to work because I can't reach anything anymore. All right, next up was a new start for the new year. This is another Heaven and Earth Designs supersized max color version of Amy Stewart's Once Upon a Fairy Tale. And again, this is one that I thought I was being super clever and doing all the different things. And everybody starts in the upper left-hand corner. Everybody sees that stinking owl first. I mean, I love the owl, but really, can we get something else other than the owl to show up first? So I decided to start in the bottom right-hand corner again. Seemed to be working for Castle Fest, so I went ahead and did it. But Amy Stewart's max color is no joke. The confetti level is like 11 on this piece so far, and I've worked on like a confetti level 12 before. This is definitely an 11. I started realizing that I had started parking and had like one of those squares had 30 flippin' threads in it at once. And then the way the the way the chart lent itself to cross country was like that way and not this way for parking. So I was getting really frustrated trying to work on this. It's beautiful. I love how I can see the ship or the boat already here. But again, started this, did I already say? They're all blurring together already. 2 over 1/10 stitch. And with how confetti heavy it is, again, the way I was using a loop start, but I work with long threads. So, two stitches and I was clipping the thread and then having to find something to secure it on the back. With a 1 over 1 full cross start, I do a lasso method on the back. I don't mind flipping my work. And that's a very easy, secure stitch with 1x, and you can secure your thread. And then find, whatever threads to secure it under after you're done stitching. I'm not able to do that very well, this method of stitching. And again, starting in the bottom left-hand corner or bottom right-hand corner, I don't think is for me. So I spent about 45 minutes one night and gridded out the entire piece of fabric for this piece and made a baby start in the upper left-hand corner, 1 over 1 full cross. Now I realized that bless you. I realized that the confetti is almost non-existent in this corner so far. It will come back, and I will be prepared for it mentally this time. So, kind of got another Melaganos on our hands with, way down that corner that I won't see for another 20 years when I get back down to it. So, I don't even know where I put the thing. There's the thing. Okay, you're gonna have to put the phone down. I need that one. It's fine. Let it roll. All right, this next one actually was the kit off of AliExpress that got me back into cross stitching and started the whole buy everything phase. I'm not telling you who it's from because I'm pretty sure this is a rip. I've seen this as a Dimensions kit, I believe. I could be wrong, but I have seen the actual legitimate company work for this. So I just call this Pegasus, but I was definitely not trying to redo the work that I put in this thing already. It is a pre-printed kit on 14 count Aida, 2 over 1 full cross. And there she is. Let me put up the before. It's hard to where I was at the beginning of the year. It's hard to show and see with full crop or with preprint and how big this is, but all right, so there's that. And there's where I'm at. Can you even tell where I have, oh my gosh, I gotta look through it, and it's getting harder to do because I got more stitches in the way. Lately I have been working down in this corner and kind of working my way up into the waterfall, and just sort of picking whatever is lowest that I haven't done and working my way up. Preprint, you kind of don't have to think too hard about it, so I just stitch where I feel like stitching. I started trying to like color complete at one point and got really bored with it when I got in the mountains, because that was a lot of one color stitching. So yeah, so there's that one. There. Next is New Start. This is another supersize max color piece because I'm crazy and the amount of projects I have on the go and the size that they are do not bother me. Don't have a cover piece for it. So there is, I requested this one as a supersize max color because I just think the way those colors are really needs that big max color to capture all of that image. And this was a gift from Stephanie from SEWGlover Creations. She was amazing because I didn't count my request of a supersize max color in this as a new chart, but I wasn't going to buy it until next year, and she was lovely enough to gift it to me. And it's black, 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 black so far. With some spatters, little spatter paints going on. I've talked with her a few times about maybe adding some glow in the dark after I get the piece done, because I don't really know, with the way Heaven and Earth Designs pieces are charted, I don't really know where to add stuff like that. And of course I get this after they announce the whole bling it up thing on their website. I haven't tried that yet because, you know, the whole new charts, but yeah, the bling thing is definitely going to happen. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out their Facebook group, Official Heaven and Earth Designs group, I think is what it's called. Michelle announced that they are going to be doing, you can request a certain chart to have certain levels of like beads or Kreinik or both, or I don't know all the details, but that's where it is. Okay, next up, this was a gift. I don't know where, okay, whatever, this works. This is one of the ones I had bought at the same time as I bought Be a Light. Just getting back into it. This was actually technically the first piece of even weave I owned, but I did not start it until after I started Rainbow Sampler. This is a Busilicate Leap of Faith, and I've actually seen a few people show this now on a few different channels that I've watched. It's a fantastic sentiment. She took a leap of faith and grew her wings on the way down. Now, for those of you who know me, you're going, why would you do this to yourself? There's so much backstitching in that. You are right. That is all the crosses that are in that feather. That's it. They're done. The rest is backstitch. But I was having a really hard time following the stem up. And I think this was a new start. I've lost track of my starts in here. I think everything, yeah, everything I'm going to show you from now on is a new start. But I took my pilot friction pens, and just drew the chart, and now I just need to backstitch over it and fill it in. And I'm probably going to do that with the rest of the crazy curly cues and all that fun stuff in there, because my eyes can't follow that. I did okay down here. That's the cat sneezing now. What the heck? Did okay down here, but then, yeah, when I started getting up here, my eyes started crossing. I was like, nope, no more. I'm going to draw it. I'm going to cheat. All right, next up is, this was one of my Mania starts. Leap of Faith might have been a Mania start too, because I think Mania started or something. I can't even remember now, guys. I started it, that's what matters. This is a Dimensions kit, but it's a needlepoint, dragonfly pair. And it's done on a 14 count mesh canvas. I think Leap of Faith is like a 28 count even weave. Now this is really hard to show because of the, oh, it's really hard to see in general. Why are you on my feet, cat? Really? I need a piece of white paper.
I'll go get one.
No, it's alright, because I just need to be creative here. Here we go. The canvas is right on the cat. The canvas is printed, but you can barely see it. I mean, it's that light in real life, in person too. Am I showing you this upside down? No. I did this in one night. So if I concentrated, I could probably get it done in a couple more nights. But I have to be in the mood to work on these needlepoint canvases because I have to really think and make decisions about where to place those stitches, since it's not like a hard and fast, this is where the stitch goes on these canvases. So it will get done when it gets done. Face shot. I feel like this is the most boring WIP parade ever. All right, next is this was a very exciting start. This is Long Dog Samplers, the new normal. And I decided to stitch this on Bestitch Me, on Gaia, on one of her linens. It's a 36 count linen. And this is a little bit of drama. Oh my goodness, did I not mark the top of this thing? Yes, I did. Okay. I know it. I have an easy way of figuring out which is the top, because unfortunately, this fabric was cut crooked. So my margin starts here and goes to there. I did talk with Brandy over at Bestitch Me, and just to let her know, because I mean I can make this work. It's a little hair raising, nerve wracking, but it'll work. And I just wanted to let her know. She sent me a gift card, and I have ordered another piece of fabric. I'm still going to do the new normal on this one, but this is as far as I've got. I just worked on the border. And most of the silks that I'm using for this, I'm doing, it's not even a color conversion. I'm just doing my own interpretation of colors on it. And most of the silks that I'm using were gifts from a lovely subscriber. Aren't they, Birdie? Oops, oops, oops. Bend down. Throwing stuff on the floor. And I have said this before, I will say it again. If you've never stitched with silk, do yourself a favor, splurge, spoil yourself as the next excuse you have, because they are amazing to work with. And I'm not giving percentages or anything, because that's too much for me to plan and get ready, and yeah, no. Let me have the package right there. Yep. The next one I got at the Stitching in the Springs retreat last year off of the freebie table, and it is a Country Spirits collection called Scenes of Spring, designed by Sandra Sullivan. And I love the design. I do not love the colors. I know this is typical of samplers, but if I'm probably going to end up, if I do any kind of sampling stitches, with the exception of one of them that I've started, I'm probably going to do a lot of color converting because that does not speak spring to me. It's gorgeous, and it's no flack against the designer. I know that's just a style. It's just not a style that I can do. So I have been doing my own color converting here. That's how far I've gotten. I worked on this. This is one of my mania starts. I'm using, this is Valkyrie Stitchworks Elsa on 32 count linen. The fabric dyer, she's the one who hosted the Stitching the Springs, and I really like her fabric. And then I'm using kind of a eclectic mix of live and dye floss and Bestitch Me floss. Like, I'm going to use this for the birds, and just, I don't know. I don't have all of the colors that I'll need. This is a Fiber on a Whim bouquet floss that I'll use for the flowers. I'm just going to kind of throw floss at it as I go. We'll see how it turns out, if I ever get my button gear and get it done. Okay, next is, now this is my focus piece, so if you're familiar with my channel, you have seen this a lot of times already. This is Boudreau. He is across the Rainbow Bridge. He is my husband's best friend's dog, and he doesn't know I'm stitching it. So I want to get it done hopefully by not this coming Christmas, but the Christmas after, because I have a long way to go on him. But here is where I'm at so far. Got his hair coming in here and his ear, curtains coming in. This is their dining room table here. Right now I'm calling him Boudreau because he's awfully blue. I have looked and studied and questioned the mock-up. The mock-up does look this blue, and then when you zoom out, he looks normal. I think it's shadow coloring, and I'm just going to have to trust the process at this point. Unfortunately, I can't. I said mock-up. I can't. It's the mock-up in the PDF, not in Pattern Keeper, because I did this pattern on pixel-stitch.net, starting to get tongue-tied, and it's not compatible with Pattern Keeper, so I can't do an actual mock-up in Pattern Keeper for it. There's plenty of browns in the floss card that I have, the floss ring, for because this one I have kitted fully up. A lot of the other ones I just pull floss as I go, but yeah, so trust in the process with that one, and we'll see how it looks in December when I do this craziness again. I just closed that, I'm sorry. Next is a gift from one of my stepsons, for reasons. I loved Care Bears, excuse me, Care Bears growing up. And this is actually an MCG Textiles kit. It's cool to care. So, I started this when I was camping in February. And I was stitching this in hand, and it's on, oh, Boudreau is, of course, on, yeah, I've stopped saying all sorts of numbers, haven't I? Bestitch Me's on 14 count, opalescent fabric. The other stuff is on some fabric with counts too. This is on a 14 count fabric, I believe. Yeah, 14 count. And this is about a week's worth of work while I was camping. I didn't work on them every day. We had stuffs to do. but I had to fix his nose. That stopped progress for a little bit because I realized I screwed up his nose and had to go back and fix it. But now he looks a lot better. So I'll probably get him out again when I go camping again next. Next up is, this was a Mania start, and a lot of these are, if not all but one of them, are going to be, maybe two of them are going to be Mania starts now. So these are all, if you have followed my channel, these are all going to look really familiar. This may get a lot boring for you. And if you just saw my update video, you'll see the very last one. So totally understand if you guys are like, peace, I'm out. I've already seen all this nonsense. If you are new to the channel, then this is a good way to kind of introduce yourself to all of the craziness that I have going on. So yeah, if you're heading out, thank you so much for stopping and taking, you know, this hour with Alara that we always have. And I will see you in my next video. Let's see. This is Cozy Porch Welcome. This is one that my mother had given me. It is a Dimensions kit from 2000. And this has just gotten one day on it. And I started with the door. So however many stitches that is, that's how many I got. I'm not very good at giving like percentages and I'll usually give you how many stitches I stitched, but as far as like percentages, and I'm not very good at that. Just, it's not that I don't find it not interesting when other people give it. I just don't find it helpful in as much for me to know of a percentage. I'm not goal oriented like that, so it doesn't bother me not to have them. All right, most of these are going to be kits. Actually, I think all of these are kits now. Unfortunately, most of them, if they are from China, are ripoffs. So I'm not naming any of the companies. I have replaced charts as I have been able to find where they're from. I started this one before I realized that this is a Dimensions kit. I have now seen it since, but I think I've come to terms with what I have left of things that I bought before I knew better. So I've worked on this several times since Mania. Took it camping, yada yada. So it's pre-printed. Again, take it when we do our camping events and go camping. I do have back stitching done on that feather. I have decided I need to start back stitching as I go so that I am not taking, 20 years to finish a project just because it has back stitching left. Whole lot of background. And I do have a smattering, you can kind of see on the back where I've gotten some work done on it. So just kind of a smattering of progress there. All right, next is this tiger. Again, pretty sure this is a ripped off Dimensions kit. He is being done on 18 count fabric with their pseudo silk thread. That other one is done on 14 count fabric, I believe. This one I was struggling with on my new start, and I had mentioned that in my video during Mania when I showed it, and somebody had given me the suggestion to use beeswax thread conditioner with the pseudo silk. Oh, game changer. I think I will actually be able to make some progress on this. I just worked in mostly black, but like I said, it was a struggle getting how much done I did. But I think that thread conditioner will help immensely. There it is. Next up, slacker. All right, this is Dolphins in the Ocean, 14 count 2/1 full cross. It is a pre-printed kit. It is huge. And again, this is probably a ripoff of an artist. I keep forgetting to look this guy up. Enright? Dan? Don? Dave? Doug? Something? I guess I could show you the picture, huh? But it's gorgeous. But it's huge, so I'm not going to replace this one. I'm just gonna learn from my mistake. And during Mania, I had a goal. I really was trying to get this fish done, but it was one of my really oddball sleep nights, so I kept falling asleep while I was stitching this one. And it's really hard to, this is my biggest complaint about the pre-printed, is that it's so hard to show any kind of progress on a video or a picture. It's really hard to see where I've stitched in the crazy madness. All right, next up is on 14 count, 2/1. Again, I have not seen this one like from a legit company, but I'm just at this point assuming it's ripped off. And this one is not pre-printed. And the colors are so pretty. It's like cotton candy. But it's not super big. It's relatively big, but not super big. So this is definitely one I want to take out to play every once in a while. Hopefully December's WIP Parade is a little more interesting with more progress to show you on a lot of these. We'll see. I don't know. Do people show, like, on a WIP Parade, after they've done their first one, do people show the stuff that's still a WIP, even if they haven't made any progress on it? I've watched WIP Parades, and I can't remember. I don't remember. All right, this next one is a Dimensions kit. I love this piece. Mary from Mary's Stitching Corner finished this relatively recently, and it's gorgeous. This is one that I had the rip off of, and I decided to get the proper replacement because it deserved to have all of its glory of Dimensions kits. I started in the middle. Can I figure out which way is up? Which way is up? This way. Okay. And that's what I got done in one night. So not fantastic progress, but not terrible either for one night. And I'm not far enough along to do any of the back stitching, but I'm definitely going to be back stitching this one as I go, because there's a lot of back stitching in this one. That is Victorian Charm. Is that the name of that kit? It is done on 18 count navy Ada. And I'm just using all the called for kit stuff. Next up. This is another one that I saw Jalalac doing that I really liked. And I've been watching her for a long time, so pretty close after I started. No, I watched her diamond painting stuff before I think I even, and her transition over to cross stitch before I saw Rachel Ray. So Girl Picking Stars is one that she did as a pre-printed kit. And I grabbed it in a not pre-printed kit. And this is done on 14 count Aida over 2. And this was my progress. This was also a Mania start. Kind of had wanted to get the star filled in, but yeah, it is what it is. There's a couple different colors of floss in there. So again, not super big, but relatively big. You exhausted yet? I'm exhausted. It just keeps going. We're heading towards the light, guys. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Is anybody still watching? Because I'd be bored. But you know, I know all these projects. Blah blah blah. All right, this next one is back into an embroidery kit. Sorry for the crinkling. It's still in the original packaging, which is loud. Now this one is kind of weird and cool and weird. But these clouds are just like bits of cotton fluff that are sewn onto the fabric. Again, this was a Mania start, so it's only 1 day's worth of progress. And I do not like my progress. I don't think it looks anything like the picture. I can't decide if it actually looks like a sunrise or not. I've had a few people say that it looks fine, that they like it. This is the long and short stitch is not one that I'm very familiar with, so I was really uncomfortable trying to figure out how to work in those, to do this so that it did the right blend out of colors. So I'll probably still work on it. You know, we've got to learn on something, and we've got to learn sometime if we're going to venture out into different things. And, you know, this is, I think a kit this size is a good learning piece. And it wasn't a huge investment of money to worry too much about it not being perfect. Just set this one down so that it's not crinkling in everybody's ears. All right, next up, this is part of a set of gifts from another subscriber. And this is from Bernat, called Tan Carousel Horse. And I love it. And this is interesting. It's on 14 count Aida, but it's actually worked 3 over 1. Most 14 counts I've ever done are 2 over 1, but I really like the coverage of the 3 over 1. That's a lot of floss, so it's probably not something I would do unless it was on the kit. So I just worked in the saddle. I did a center start, got some of the blanket underneath done. And again, that was just 1 day of work during Mania. And for all these Mania starts, it may be next May before they see the light of day again. It really kind of just depends on what I feel moved to work on and what decides to come out and play. Next one is another kit embroidery project. There's a lot of, I actually learned needleworking. Embroidery was my first, what am I trying to say? These are the things I learned first, these kinds of stitches. I have never done the Bullion Knot, which is in the roses. There was quite a few that I'm not super familiar with, so I was actually really excited to start working on this one. And I had a good chunk of time done on that night. I think that was a night I was having kind of an overnight can't sleep thing. So I started working on the stuff that I was more familiar with. So, I don't know if you can see. Get you right up in there. But embroidery stitches give pieces really interesting textures. So, happy with that one so far. Next up. Okay, this one This is a purchase that I did on eBay 15 or 20 years ago. And I just saw a pretty fairy. She's a pretty fairy. And then I got her out to stitch on her. And I looked really close. And y'all, she's naked. She's a naked fairy. This is not a dress. This is just something she's got draped around her butt. So, she came with beads, so I may actually stitch her a little bikini. We shall see how that works. She is done on Black Ada, and she was also on a night when I had very little sleep and was falling asleep stitching her. So I actually had to put the needles in, the beading needle and the embroidery needle as a T for top, because otherwise I wouldn't know where the heck I was on that thing. Looks like a ship's anchor. So that's my naked fairy. All right, there towards the end of Mania, there were a lot of embroidery kits that started coming out. I had actually, when I was pulling all of my whips out to do this parade, I found one more counted cross stitch piece that I totally forgot about. Very similar to the cabin one that I showed at the beginning of this parade. And then there was the one, there's a dimensions kit that I found. The fabric has been sun damaged or light damaged and needs to be replaced with something or re-dyed or something. Everything else at the end of May was an embroidery project because that's what I had left. This one I've been hauling this thing around for years and years as well. It is from the Creative Circle, 1986. This is an oldie Model T. And this is a silk printed piece of fabric. And then the cars themselves have stitching in them. And that's what I got done one day. I cannot see. Oh, there we go. Kind of looks like a braid. I think that's the split stitch. So that one was fun to work on. Definitely one I want to see be done because I have literally carried this thing around over 10 moves, over 20 years at least. So, this is actually worked with yarn and not floss. But it's, you know, split up like you would, like you would floss. All right, I need a drink. Y'all, I knew this was going to be a long video. I just didn't know how long, and it's long even for me. Another China kit. This is a Celestial Gathering. This is also done with the fake silk fabric thread. 14 count. And this came with a navy cloth, navy Ada to do this on. And I really enjoyed the colors and working on this one. I started it in the corner of a page because it's basically a 4-page project. I should keep my backing paper out. I don't know if that works. It's not too bad. But that was a one night's work, and I just kind of filled in the corner there. That one's going to be fun to see grow. I like that one. All right, next up I know is a ripoff. I really wish I had found the ripoff before I saw this one because I totally would have gotten it instead. This is a piece by Pixie Cold called Spirit Horse. It is available as a kit on geckorouge.com. And is this is not a bad rendering. But the Gecko Rouge is going to have a lot more detail than this. It is on 14 count. White Ada. And I was on a roll for this one. Now, it's a lot of white stitching on white fabric, so hopefully you can see it. And my phone is not charging, you piece of junk. So that's where I got on that. Hopefully I've got enough juice to get through the rest of this film, because I don't know why it's not charging. I've had it plugged in the whole time. Okay. Next is a sampler. Also a freebie off of the table at Stitching in the Springs. Sorry. Sticker on there. Now this was as a kit, so even though the colors aren't necessarily what I would choose, I'm going ahead and going with the kit floss and colors. Beaded, $16.99. This is probably my words, very few alphabet samplers will you see on this channel. I love the story behind it, so I decided to do it. It just kept calling me, so I listened. It's on something or other Ada. No, linen, 30 count linen. And it's going to be pretty big. I mean, rawr. But there's my little start, the upper alphabet. And that's by the Sampler. Alright, next up is another probably ripoff. Underwater World. This is 14 count, 2/1. Probably the same artist, or that obviously similar genre. This is a pre-printed kit as well. Started on Mania, and I absolutely love this color blue. So this pink is being stitched over with this blue, and I just got a bunch of blue in. So I'd like to see more progress on that one, but I'm not gonna, again, not really gonna stress about any of my projects getting progress on them. I cross stitch and I enjoy it, and what gets done gets done. This is Bernat Gray Carousel Horse. These horses were an 80s gig for them. Again, this was gifted to me. And since I did a center start, it was also a saddle start. So that's kind of marks the middle of those charts. Sorry, I'm going to kind of start zooming a little bit, guys, because I don't want my battery to die. Huh?
Last 5.
Woo. 5 more to go. Countdown is on. Alright, next ones are actually some full coverages that I totally forgot about, because I started them after, well, this one is Canopy Heart by Dakota Detweiler, Heaven and Earth Designs. This is a sal I'm doing with Suki, the Brown-Eyed Stitcher, and a few other people who have decided to join us. I only got 300 stitches in. But this one is definitely coming out at the end of the month to get some more progress on. My plan is to have it come out at the end of every month so that it actually gets some love. This next one is Miss Forever. This was also a gift. Oh, and Suki and I did an exchange for that. And she got me the chart so that I didn't have to break my no-buy at that point in time. And I gifted her the fabric. This was a gift from another lovely subscriber. This is Miss Forever. This is a limited edition chart by Tatiana Willems from Heaven and Earth Designs. Here. And I got 400 stitches start on her. So there is her humble start that I hope to get more on this coming months. All right, next is Crystal Garden that I am doing as a sal with Jessica from LiveLaughLoveStitcher. We both share a love of horses, and we both had this chart in our stash already. So this is Crystal Garden by Rose Kahn from Heaven and Earth Designs, and I actually got a decent chunk on this one. I got 1,000 stitches in on this start. I was zooming on this one. There's not a whole lot of colors so far in this particular chunk of chart, and I had a decent amount of time to work on that one. All right, I am part of Gecko Rouge's gold membership, so I was able to purchase this kit without breaking my no-buy. This is by Lorna Lane, Dragon, from Gecko Rouge, and again, I do 28 count 1/1 from them. And I was really happy with my start on this. There's not a whole lot of confetti yet, so it moved fairly quickly. And this is definitely not a full coverage start as a square chart, so I just picked the middle and then worked, counted my way up to the top and started there. So that's his moon coming in. Last but not least was my very first Mill Hill beads and buttons kit, or any Mill Hill kit, my very first one. I started that just a couple of days ago and got like 30% done on it. I could not put this one down. I was having so much fun. I color completed everything but the very last color of DMC. So I have this to fill in for all the background, and then I can start the beading. So hopefully that won't take me too long. Is that a little easier to see with that on the back? Yeah, kind of. So that concludes my mid-year 2022 WIP Parade. If you stuck around this long, thank you so much for joining me. Stay tuned for my next update in a week or so, maybe 2 weeks, who knows. I never have a schedule for those. But I will look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much for tuning in. I don't have a clue how to end a WIP Parade, so bye for now.